the boarding attempt, the Atlas Dawn was not a warship. It was a long, heavy freighter, its dark hull marked with scratches from years of hauling cargo between far-off colonies. To most, it was nothing special, just another merchant vessel drifting in the endless dark. But today, it was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The crew had been moving through the outer edges of alien-controlled space, responding to a faint distress signal from a mining colony. The signal was weak, filled with static, but there was no mistaking the urgency in it. Captain Elias Hayes had ordered the ship to change course, hoping to reach the colony in time. That's when it happened. A sudden burst of light tore open the stars ahead. One ship appeared. Then another. And another. 6 alien warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel, surrounding the Atlas Dawn like predators circling wounded prey. The crew froze. On the bridge, Ensign Kara Vance's hands trembled over her console. "Captain," she whispered, "they're hailing us." Hayes gave a short nod. "Put it through." The main screen lit up, revealing an alien with gray skin, sharp ridges along its skull, and eyes like shards of ice. Behind him, a crew of similar warriors moved with cold precision. "This is Commander Varen of the Karzak Dominion," the alien's voice growled, deep and metallic. "You have entered restricted space. Prepare to be boarded." No warning. No negotiation. Just a command. Around the bridge, the crew exchanged nervous looks. The Atlas Dawn was unarmed. Its hull plating was thin compared to warships. They all knew what would happen if alien troops got inside, but Hayes didn't flinch. His voice was calm, almost steady. "This ship is under Earth protection. Stand down." Varen laughed, the sound cruel and mocking. "Earth is far from here, Captain. Too far to save you. Surrender now, and we will consider spa. Ring your crew." Kara's eyes darted to Hayes. She expected him to stall, to ask for terms, to do anything but what he did next. "Negative," Hayes said firmly. "We are not surrendering." A ripple of shock passed over the crew. The alien commander's ridged face hardened. "Then we will take what we want." The screen went black. Immediately, the Atlas Dawn shook under a deep vibration, tractor beams locking onto the hull. Systems flickered. The hum of the engines died away. Kara's voice was tight. "Engines offline. They're pulling us in." Hayes stood silent for a moment, his gaze fixed on the dark screen where Varen's face had just been. Then he reached into his pocket, pulled out a small encrypted communicator, and pressed a single button. No one else on the bridge recognized the device. A soft chime echoed through the room. Hayes tucked it away again without a word. The crew exchanged confused glances, but no one dared to ask. Out beyond the ship's hull, alien boarding craft detached from the larger warships. They moved in formation, sleek and deadly, heading straight for the freighter's docking bays. Inside the Atlas Dawn, Hayes turned to his crew. "Seal all bulkheads. Lock down the lower decks. And whatever happens, do not open fire unless I give the order." "Sir," Kara asked quietly, "shouldn't we send a distress call?" "It's already been sent," Hayes replied, though his voice carried a strange weight, as if he meant something more than she could understand. Minutes later, the first boarding craft connected with the freighter's hull. The sound was a heavy metallic clang that echoed through the ship like a death bell. Kara could hear faint thuds through the walls, alien soldiers moving, cutting through doors, working their way inside. Hayes stood at the center of the bridge, calm but watchful, as if counting down to something. Another boarding craft hit the opposite side of the ship. More echoes. More heavy steps. The crew braced for the sound of weapons fire. Instead, Hayes' communicator vibrated softly in his pocket. He didn't take it out. He didn't need to. His eyes narrowed slightly. "Hold position," he said quietly, as if to himself. "Just a little longer." On the alien flagship, Commander Varen was already imagining his victory. A helpless human freighter. A rich prize of cargo. Maybe even hostages to trade for political advantage. He had no idea what kind of message Hayes had sent, and he had no idea what was coming, because far away, in the cold void between stars, something massive had already changed course. Something silent. Something cloaked, and it was coming straight for them, warnings ignored. The air inside the Atlas Dawn felt heavy, like the whole ship was holding its breath. The low rumble of the alien ship's tractor beams vibrated through the walls, an unshakable reminder that they were trapped. Ensign Kara Vance kept her eyes on the sensor display. Every few seconds, more blinking dots appeared, boarding pods, like red drops of blood spreading across the ship's hull map. They're coming in from 5 different sections, Captain, she reported. Hayes didn't answer right away. His gaze stayed fixed on the empty space outside the bridge windows, where the alien warships loomed in cold silence. How many minutes until they're fully inside? 4. Maybe less. A calm beep cut through the tense air. The screen lit up again, Commander Varen. The alien's expression was pure arrogance, his ridged mouth curling in something close to a smile. Captain Hayes, he said, almost casually, I will give you one more chance. Surrender your cargo, your ship, and your crew. Do this, and I may allow you to live. Hayes stepped closer to the screen, his voice calm. This ship is carrying supplies for a human colony. If you take them, people will die. Varen tilted his head, pretending to think. Then they will die. Your mistake was coming here. Hayes said nothing else. He simply reached forward and cut the transmission. Captain. Kara's voice wavered. If we don't give them something, no, Hayes said sharply, but not unkindly. The moment we hand over anything, we've already lost. The bridge went quiet again, except for the faint thuds of the boarding pods connecting to the hull. Down in the lower decks, the first alien soldiers were already stepping inside. They moved in teams of 4, their weapons sleek and humming with energy. Their armor was black, their helmets featureless except for 2 narrow slits of pale light. They expected chaos. They expected humans to panic and scatter. Instead, the corridors were empty. Bulkhead doors had sealed, cutting off whole sections of the ship. The aliens advanced cautiously, scanning every shadow point. One of them spoke in their native language. They're hiding. They're afraid. On the bridge, Hayes' communicator buzzed again in his pocket. This time, he pulled it out. The screen displayed a short, encrypted code. No words, just numbers. Hayes understood it instantly. He leaned toward Kara and spoke so only she could hear. When I give the order, switch to channel 12. Only 12. You'll know why. She frowned. What's on channel 12? Earth Command, he said simply. In orbit, the alien warships tightened their formation. From the outside, it looked like an easy hunt, a helpless freighter surrounded by 6 predators. The alien crews were relaxed, laughing, certain of victory. None of them noticed the faint, invisible ripple that passed across the black void behind them. Back inside, one of the Atlas Dawn security officers burst onto the bridge, panting. They've breached the cargo bay, Captain. Hayes nodded, still calm. Seal it off. Make them waste time. The officer hesitated. Sir, how long can we keep this up? Long enough, Hayes replied, his voice steady but calm. Reeing a weight the others couldn't quite place, the calm chimed again, Varen for the 3rd time. His patience was slipping. Human, the alien commander snarled, your resistance is pathetic. You cannot win. Surrender before we kill you all. Hayes didn't even look at the screen as he answered. You've already made your last mistake. And then he cut the line again. Kara's hands hovered over her controls. Sir, are we really waiting for something? Because if we are, before she could finish, the deck shook with a deep, muffled boom. It didn't come from inside the ship. It came from outside, far beyond the alien fleet. Something vast moved in the dark. It was invisible to normal scanners, but its presence bent the stars around it, like light warping through glass. Inside the Atlas Dawn, Hayes allowed himself the smallest smile. Channel 12, Ensign, he said quietly. Kara obeyed, and the voice that came through wasn't from anyone on the Atlas Dawn. It was cold, clear, and full of authority. This is Earth Command. You have 30 seconds to release that vessel and withdraw, or face immediate elimination. The alien crews froze. No one had seen the ships arrive. No one knew how close they already were. First contact turns deadly. The bridge of the Atlas Dawn was silent after the voice from Earth Command faded. No one moved. No one breathed. Even the hum of the ship's damaged system seemed to go quiet, as if the whole vessel was waiting for the next sound. It came from the alien flagship. Identify yourself, Commander Varen demanded over the open channel. His voice was still loud, but there was a thin thread of doubt in it now. The reply was calm. Almost casual. This is Admiral Sloan of the Earth Defense Fleet. You have 30 seconds left. On the alien flagship's bridge, several officers exchanged uneasy glances. Earth wasn't supposed to have ships out here. Certainly not warships. They were weeks away from their nearest known base. Varen smirked to hide his unease. You bluff well, human admiral. But my forces are already aboard. Your empty threats mean nothing. In the Atlas Dawn's lower decks, the alien boarding teams kept moving. They had cut through the sealed bulkheads with plasma torches, clearing corridor after corridor. The humans had fallen back deeper into the ship, not firing, not resisting, just waiting. Point 1 Alien squad leader activated his comm. Primary cargo bay secured. No resistance. Hold position, Varen's voice ordered back. We may have company. Out in the black void, the ripple behind the alien fleet widened. What had been a faint shimmer now looked like a hole tearing in space, and then, without warning, something stepped through. It was a warship. Long and angular, with black armor that drank in the starlight. No lights. No markings. It appeared without a flash, without the thunder of a jump, just there, like it had been hiding all along. Alien scanners scrambled to adjust. Their readings didn't make sense. The ship was big, bigger than any human vessel they'd seen before, but it registered as nothing on half their instruments. On the Atlas Dawn's bridge, Ensign Kara Vance's eyes went wide. Sir, that's a Retribution-class ship. Hayes didn't look at her. Yes. And that's only one. As if answering his words, two more shadows peeled away from the darkness, matching warships, moving into a wide arc that boxed in the alien fleet from behind. The alien crews were suddenly very, very quiet. Varen, Admiral Sloane's voice came again. You have intruded on an Earth-protected vessel, attacked without cause, and boarded its crew. This is your final warning. Leave now, or be destroyed. On the alien flagship, Varen's jaw tightened. Fire on the intruder, he snapped. His gunners obeyed instantly. Beams of blue energy streaked across space, striking the ECS Retribution dead center, and vanished. He black armor drank the energy like water soaking into sand. His gunners obeyed instantly. Beams of blue energy streaked across space, striking the ECS Retribution dead center, and vanished. The black armor drank the energy like water soaking into sand. Inside the Retribution, human gunners locked onto the alien warships. The targeting systems didn't beep. They purred. In the Atlas Dawn's corridors, alien soldiers suddenly heard something strange over their comms, an unfamiliar voice, speaking perfect Karzak. Boarding parties, stand down. This is your only chance to leave alive. Some aliens hesitated. Others laughed and ignored it. That was their mistake. Without warning, the Retribution fired. Not a broadside. Not a random volley. Just 3 shots, each a blinding spear of white light. Each one found its target. Point 1 Alien warship exploded instantly, its hull breaking apart like glass. The second was crippled, spinning helplessly in space. The third lost all power in an instant, drifting dead and silent. The alien fleet was cut in half before Varen even gave his next order. On the Atlas Dawn, Hayes' voice was steady. Ensign, seal off the last bulkheads. They'll try to retreat to their pods. Kara hesitated. Sir, what about, seal them? Now. She obeyed. Across the ship, heavy blast doors slammed shut, trapping alien soldiers in isolated sections. Some pounded on the metal, shouting into their comms. Others went silent, realizing they were finished. Varen's voice came over the channel again, this time with a snarl. You think one battle makes you safe, human? Admiral Sloane's voice didn't rise. It's not one battle. It's the first lesson. And somewhere out in the dark, more invisible shapes began to appear, warships, dozens of them, all human. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth wasn't far away at all. His gunners obeyed instantly. Beams of blue energy streaked across space, striking the ECS Retrib. Yushin dead center, and vanished. The black armor drank the energy like water soaking into sand. Inside the Retribution, human gunners locked onto the alien warships. The targeting systems didn't beep. They purred. In the Atlas Dawn's corridors, alien soldiers suddenly heard something strange over their comms, an unfamiliar voice, speaking perfect Karzak. Boarding parties, stand down. This is your only chance to leave alive. Some aliens hesitated. Others laughed and ignored it. That was their mistake. Without warning, the Retribution fired. Not a broadside. Not a random volley. Just 3 shots, each a blinding spear of white light. Each one found its target point. One alien warship exploded instantly, its hull breaking apart like glass. The second was crippled, spinning helplessly in space. The third lost all power in an instant, drifting dead and silent. The alien fleet was cut in half before Varen even gave his next order. On the Atlas Dawn, Hayes' voice was steady. Ensign, seal off the last bulkheads. They'll try to retreat to their pods. Kara hesitated. Sir, what about, seal them? Now. She obeyed. Across the ship, heavy blast doors slammed shut, trapping alien soldiers in isolated sections. Some pounded on the metal, shouting into their comms. Others went silent, realizing they were finished. Varen's voice came over the channel again, this time with a snarl. You think one battle makes you safe, human? Admiral Sloane's voice didn't rise. It's not one battle. It's the first lesson. And somewhere out in the dark, more invisible shapes began to appear, warships, dozens of them, all human. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth wasn't far away at all. His gunners obeyed instantly. Beams of blue energy streaked across space, striking the ECS Retribution dead center, and vanished. The black armor drank the energy like water soaking into sand. Inside the Retribution, human gunners locked onto the alien warships. The targeting systems didn't beep. They purred. In the Atlas Dawn's corridors, alien soldiers suddenly heard something strange over their comms, an unfamiliar voice, speaking perfect Karzak. Boarding parties, stand down. This is your only chance to leave alive. Some aliens hesitated. Others laughed and ignored it. That was their mistake. Without warning, the Retribution fired. Not a broadside. Not a random volley. Just 3 shots, each a blinding spear of white light. Each one found its target point. One alien warship exploded instantly, its hull breaking apart like glass. The second was crippled, spinning helplessly in space. The third lost all power in an instant, drifting dead and silent. The alien fleet was cut in half before Varen even gave his next order. On the Atlas Dawn, Hayes' voice was steady. Ensign, seal off the last bulkheads. They'll try to retreat to their pods. Kara hesitated. Sir, what about, seal them? Now. She obeyed. Across the ship, heavy blast doors slammed shut, trapping alien soldiers in isolated sections. Some pounded on the metal, shouting into their comms. Others went silent, realizing they were finished. Varen's voice came over the channel again, this time with a snarl. You think one battle makes you safe, human? Admiral Sloane's voice didn't rise. It's not one battle. It's the first lesson. And somewhere out in the dark, more invisible shapes began to appear, warships, dozens of them, all human. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth wasn't far away at all. Earth's secret weapon, space around the alien fleet was no longer empty. One by one, shadows peeled away from the darkness, massive warships that had been hiding in plain sight. They emerged like silent predators, their black hulls gliding into position with no engine flare, no visible movement, just the quiet certainty of a hunter closing its jaws. Every alien scanner went into panic. The readings didn't match. Varen's claws tightened on the armrest. Then we fight. But before he could give the order, the retribution fired that it wasn't a barrage, it was a single, precise strike. A thin beam of white-hot energy lanced out and touched the hull of one of the Dominion's frigates. The frigate didn't explode. It simply vanished, disintegrating into dust without a sound. This is not a negotiation, Sloane said. This is a lesson. Leave now, and you live. Stay, and you disappear. Inside the Atlas Dawn, the alien boarding teams began to panic. Their comms were flooded with urgent orders to retreat, but the bulkhead doors were still sealed. Human Marines in black armor waited in the shadows, rifles ready, eyes cold. One Marine spoke into his comm. Bridge, we've got them contained. Your call. Hayes' voice was calm. Hold them for now. If their commander orders a withdrawal, we let them go. Varen looked at the wall of human warships surrounding him. Even if he fought, even if he won a skirmish, the cost would destroy his fleet, and deep down, he knew this wasn't the full force of Earth. If they could bring this many ships here without warning, they could do far worse. That he clenched his jaw. All ships, disengage. On the Atlas Dawn, the blast doors opened. The alien boarding teams didn't hesitate, they ran for their pods. The human Marines didn't fire. They just watched, silent, like wolves letting wounded prey limp away. As the alien fleet turned, Admiral Sloane's voice came one last time. Remember what you saw today. Remember it before you think of touching Earth again. The Karzak ships jumped away, vanishing into the dark. The silence they left behind was almost heavier than the battle that never happened, but Hayes knew it wasn't over. This wasn't just a rescue. It was a warning to the galaxy, turning the tide. The Atlas Dawn's corridors no longer felt like prey territory. Moments ago, alien boots had echoed with the confidence of a predator moving in for the kill. Now, that sound was gone, replaced by the heavier, more deliberate steps of human Marines advancing from both ends of the ship. They wore black adaptive armor, smooth and silent, their visors hiding their faces. Their rifles were short, built for close combat, but the Marines carried themselves like they didn't need weapons at all. In the dim light of Cargo Bay 2, an alien squad crouched behind crates of humanitarian supplies, plasma rifles trained on the main entrance. Their armor was scorched, their breathing quick. One whispered in their own language, "We should have left when the order came." Before the other could answer, the overhead lights flickered once, then a sharp metallic click echoed from the shadows above. A Marine dropped from the overhead gantry like a shadow come alive. He hit the floor silently, rifle already raised. Drop it. His voice came through the suit speakers, calm, flat, like a man asking for the time. The aliens hesitated. That was all the Marine needed. 3 quick bursts. Precise. Controlled. The fight in Cargo Bay 2 was over in under 7 seconds. Elsewhere, in engineering, another alien team tried to sabotage the Atlas Dawn's reactor. The lead alien placed a charge on the main coolant pipe, muttering about leaving them with nothing. The charge never armed. A human hand reached out from behind a coolant tank and yanked it away. The alien spun around, and saw a Marine already in striking distance. The human didn't fire. He simply slammed the alien into the wall, disarming him with one twisting motion. Not today, the Marine said. Up on the bridge, Ensign Kara Vance watched the internal cameras in silence. The tide had turned fast, too fast for her to process. "Sir," she said to Hayes, "they're retreating toward their pods." Hayes nodded. "Good. Let them. Dead enemies can't tell a story. Live ones can." In the docking bay, alien soldiers crowded into their pods. Some looked back toward the Marines following at a slow, steady pace. Not chasing. Not firing. Just watching. One alien couldn't help but ask, "Why aren't you killing us?" A Marine tilted his head. "Because Admiral Sloan told us to let you live. Be thankful." The alien didn't reply. Outside the Atlas Dawn, the ECS Retribution and her sister ships held position, weapons still hot. The alien fleet was already pulling away, their formation broken, movement sloppy, every possible escape route was blocked by a human warship, until Sloan gave the word. When the alien ships finally jumped, they left fast, their engines burning brighter than they should have. It wasn't a tactical withdrawal. It was a flight. On the bridge of the Atlas Dawn, the comm crackled again. Admiral Sloan's voice came through, low and certain. "Atlas Dawn, you are secure. We'll escort you to safe space." Hayes nodded, knowing Sloan couldn't see him. "Much appreciated, Admiral." "Don't thank me, Captain. Thank Earth Command." This was a message, not just a rescue. Hayes understood. Everyone in the galaxy would hear about what happened here. And the Karzak Dominion would remember. As the Marines finished their sweep, the Atlas Dawn's crew finally relaxed. Some slumped into their seats. Others just stared at the black silhouettes of the warships outside, realizing for the first time that Earth's power wasn't just rumor, it was real. But Hayes didn't relax. He knew the Karzak weren't finished. This was only round one. And the next time, it might not be a freighter they came for. The final standout in the dark, Commander Varen's ship surged forward. The rest of his fleet had fled, but he refused to be humiliated. Losing here meant his name would be erased from Karzak history. Winning, even at terrible cost, would make him a legend. He slammed a clawed fist onto the armrest. "All power to Forw." Varen stepped through, flanked by two warriors. His eyes locked on Hayes. "This ends now, human." Hayes stood. "Yes. It does." The two alien guards charged. Hayes didn't move, because three Marines dropped from the ceiling vent behind the bridge consoles, their rifles barking in perfect sync. Both guards fell before they took a second step. That left Varen. The alien commander lunged, spear swinging in a wide arc. Hayes sidestepped, the spear slicing sparks from the control panel. He fired twice into Varen's armor, no effect. Varen roared and drove the spear forward. Hayes caught the shaft with both hands, the heat searing his palms through the gloves. He shoved back with everything he had, forcing Varen one step away. Then came the sound, deep, resonant, like the growl of a predator the size of a city. Outside the viewport, a shadow fell over the Atlas Dawn. The rest of Earth's fleet had arrived. Admiral Sloan's voice boomed across every comm in the sector. "Stand down, Varen, or you won't leave this system alive." Varen hesitated, just for a fraction of a second. That was all Hayes needed. With a sharp twist, he ripped the spear from the alien's hands and slammed the butt of it into Varen's helmet. The alien hit the deck, dazed. Marines moved in instantly, shackling him. Hayes looked down at the defeated commander. "Lessons over." Earth Command's message. The Atlas Dawn floated in the center of a wall of black steel. Dozens of Earth warships surrounded it, their matte hulls blotting out half the stars. Beyond them, the crippled alien flagship hung motionless, its engines offline, its weapons powered down. Varen sat in restraints on the Atlas Dawn's bridge, his ridged face twisted with rage and disbelief. The comm crackled. Admiral Sloan's voice came, sharp and cold. "Open all channels. I want the entire sector to hear this." Hayes tapped the control. A green light blinked. Every ship within range could now hear Earth Command. "This is Admiral Sloan of the Earth Defense Fleet," his voice boomed. "Today, the Karzak Dominion attempted to board a civilian freighter, attack its crew, and seize its cargo. They failed. On distant alien ships, crews listened in silence. Some recognized the voice. Others simply felt the weight in it. They failed because Earth stands for its own." Sloan continued. "We do not run. We do not bow. And we do not forget. Hayes glanced at Varen, whose jaw tightened. The alien commander wanted to speak, but the humans weren't finished. Sloane's tone shifted, becoming almost quieter, more dangerous. To any who think Earth is far away, to any who think we are weak, remember what you saw here. Remember the fleet that came without warning. Remember that we will come again, faster than you think. There was a pause. Then, almost casually, Varen of the Karzak Dominion, you will return to your leaders with this message: Earth is not prey. Earth is the hunter. The channel closed. Silence fell across space, then the human fleet began to move. Not away, but as one, they pivoted, their massive hulls sliding into a perfect formation that framed the Atlas dawn. It wasn't a retreat. It was a statement. The message was clear. This is what happens when you touch Earth. As the alien prisoners were escorted to their pods, Varen was the last to leave. He paused in the doorway, his voice low enough for only Hayes to hear. This isn't over, human. Hayes met his gaze evenly. You're right. It's just begun. Hours later, as the Atlas Dawn traveled under escort toward safe space, the crew finally allowed themselves to breathe. Laughter returned. Some even slept for the first time in days. Kara stood at the viewport, watching the ECS Retribution glide alongside them like a black shadow. Sir? She asked quietly, was this really just about rescuing us? Hayes shook his head. No, Ensign. This was about showing the galaxy that we're ready now. In the command center of Earth's High Fleet, the recordings of the encounter were already being transmitted, not just to allies, but to every known channel across multiple star systems. The footage would play again and again, the Black Fleet appearing from the dark, the alien ships fleeing, the voice of Admiral Sloane echoing across the stars. A warning. A promise, and the beginning of a new chapter in Earth's history. Out there, in the cold between the stars, word would spread fast. Earth was no longer a quiet, distant world on the edge of galactic maps. It was a power the galaxy would have to reckon with. And the next time someone thought to seize a human ship, they would remember the day Earth's reply shook the stars.